Hey everyone, it's Nico, and I really wanted to make a video about Endless Ocean Luminous because I've been playing it for the last few days. I got it the first day it came out, and I've been really enjoying it. So, since it's gotten such kind of like mediocre to poor reviews, and I've seen online kind of a lot of discourse on some people really like it, some people really don't like it. Look, at the end of the day, all these posts, the reviews, all that stuff, it's just individuals' opinion on an experience. Just like this video is based off of my experience. So if you watch those reviews, or maybe you just kind of saw the overall score as 63 on Metacritic and thought, nah, this game must be crap, let me just write it off, disappointment. No, like, really look at it. Look at the gameplay. Maybe listen to their perspective and understand, like, maybe the positives and negatives that they explain. But just understand that just because one person didn't like it or a couple people didn't like it, that doesn't mean that the game's universally good or bad. I know people that didn't like Tears of the Kingdom, and I'll never understand that because that's one of my favorite games of all time. I was addicted to that game for like a straight month as I played through it. But anyways, so with that out of the way, where's my perspective on Luminous coming from? I am not an Endless Ocean fan. I did not play the Wii games, and I'm also not a like scuba diving type of gamer. This game is completely unlike anything I've ever played. But I thought it looked cool. Again, based off the footage, I never watch reviews for literally anything because I always like to form my own opinion. So what I would look at is gameplay, what have you. So like the Nintendo Direct footage, trailers, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this game looks cool. It's a very kind of chill game. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I wanted. And that's what it is. A chill game. You just swim around. You can scan different types of creatures. You collect treasure. All that sort of stuff. So understand that my perspective is that of a new player that has never played an Endless Ocean game before. And now granted, they were on the Wii over 10 years ago, but I just wanted to point out that I didn't have any sort of expectations based off the previous titles. And I know a lot of you, that's probably what bothers you about this, is that it's disappointing compared to those games. And I understand that. So I'm going to kind of cover the good and the bad. And I'm also not turning a blind eye to this game's faults. It has them. A lot of the criticisms are very valid. And I think that if Nintendo updates it and maybe addresses some of these things, they could turn this into a much more polished experience. Not that it's buggy or anything like that. I mean, for me personally, I've played 10 hours so far in the few days it's been out. Have not experienced any bugs or anything. So anyways, let's get into kind of what the game has to offer. So basically it has the single player mode, which you're going to probably want to start with so you can get acclimated. So it has the story mode. So how the story mode works is in the beginning, it gives you, each chapter's like chapter 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, things like that. And you play through those, but then eventually after you get kind of through the tutorial levels, it's going to task you with needing a certain number of creature scans. And I think this is the part of it that really bothered the people that reviewed this, like the journalists and critics that had early access that reviewed it. Because getting these creature scans basically means you need to go into dives. Now, dives are the bulk of the gameplay. And if you only have the option of solo dives, yes, I think this is probably going to be a disappointing and boring experience. I stick strictly with shared dives. That's it. I do shared dives. So with that said, there's also like a profile option where you can customize yourself, look at your stats, your achievements, all that sort of stuff. And then there's also a customize option where you can change the colors of your scuba gear and apply stickers to kind of customize yourself. And there's emotes. This is a bit disappointing because there's literally only one set of scuba gear. It would have been nice if you could at least change maybe like your goggles or your face mask and maybe your flippers. Give you a little bit more customization, maybe have different scuba suits. Just being able to change your colors is a little lackluster because at the end of the day, everybody's still the same character model. So that I completely understand. That part is disappointing. Then there's also the mystery board, which I'm not really going to get into because it's got story implications. But all you need to really know about the mystery board is it's almost like it reminds me of the challenge board from the Smash Brothers series. You know, there's 99 squares and you unlock them by meeting specific criteria. And then the logs are just your creature logs and your salvage or treasure logs, which it tracks stats for all the treasure you've found, all the creatures you've scanned, biggest and smallest, all that sort of stuff. Very basic. So that's how the core of the gameplay works in terms of like the story and the customization and all that sort of stuff. So now to get back to the dives. So with the dives, if you do them solo, you're just going to be in this big open area and the world is randomly generated. So, you know, every time you play, you can get you'll get a different layout, different fish, creatures, treasure, all that sort of stuff. Different anomaly fish, which again, I won't really get into. It's story implications. I don't want to spoil anything. But if you do it solo, you're all by yourself. It's up to you. Whatever you find, you find. And I feel like, for me personally, I haven't even played solo dives because that concept of that seems boring to me. And since that was how the reviewers that reviewed it prior to launch, that was their experience because obviously the game wasn't out. They didn't have anybody to play with. Maybe they could find one or two other people, but it's highly doubtful that they had really anybody to play with to do the shared dives. Now, why I like the shared dives are you'll have a bunch of different divers with you playing, and you can tag things for one another. You can work on finding the anomaly creatures together, and that really makes it feel a lot more interactive and fun that you have other people in there exploring with you. I don't feel like so much pressure almost as that I'm gonna miss something if I'm just solo, because you also have all your teammates that hopefully, if they're good teammates, are tagging things for you and you're helping one another out. That, to me, is the best way to play, is in the shared dives. The shared dives have kind of a lot of specifics. You don't see tags of other divers in the world that you're currently in unless you first dive with them, which is basically like you come into close proximity of them. And on the map, you'll fill each other's map in, but it'll be just the terrain and it'll be kind of like grayed out. So you know that you haven't personally been there, but it'll help you map out the terrain. You're helping each other like fill in the map and increase the creature percentage and stuff like that. There's a lot of specifics to it, but I like the shared dives feature. And I think that should be the focus of this game, is if you want a multiplayer experience, I think this game is fun. Simply put, I've played 10 hours in a few days. At the time of recording, the game's been out for a few days. That part of it's fun. If you can only play single player, maybe because of internet or, you know, you just don't like to play with other players for some reason, I think that would be a good reason to pass, because I would imagine the solo dives are probably not that great. So if you're into multiplayer, absolutely, the shared dives are a lot of fun. Can't really grief one another. The closest you can really come to it is when you do the anomaly creatures. If you find it first and you don't tag it, it'll disappear off the other player's map, so they might not know where it was if you did it really fast. I've had that happen a few times. You know, and of course, if you don't mark anything that you collect, you're not really helping your teammates. But at the end of the day, that's not really griefing, because if you were doing a solo dive, you wouldn't have anybody tagging anything anyways. So that's kind of that. And as far as my criticisms of it, it really does stem from its kind of lack of customization and also the way they handle story progression. If you want to just progress the story, having to consistently go do dives to get creature scans to unlock the next chapter means it's a really, really slow sense of progression. Like, they're big jumps in creature scan numbers. Like, very big. Like, I might have to do, 2 hours of dives just to go from 2-1 to 2-2 or 2-2 to 2-3, for example. Like, it really does bog it down if you just want to experience the story. So the community aspect should be the focal point and the main reason why you would play this, at least to me. The other cool aspect is that if you're in a lobby and maybe you have a friend or something that hey, I want to jump in with you, you could just open the map screen and give them the little code. There's the diver ID, and they can just join right in, and they can join you. To go along with that, the maps that get generated, since it's randomly generated, they are generated, and then at the end, you're always given an ID that you can either save for yourself or give to someone else. If you were like, oh, hey, I have this really cool layout, check it out. It's similar to like the seeds in Minecraft, like how the seeds work. And it reminds me a bit of when I used to play, and I'm really going to date myself here, but Dragon Quest IX on the DS. And you get to that post-game content, and there's treasure maps. And, you can swap treasure maps and stuff like that with other people. I think the community aspect of this, if there is a community for it, there's a little bit of one on GameFAQs right now, but the community aspect of the game is what would really make this a fun game and give it some longevity. And being able to like have a thread with a bunch of people posting really cool diver ID, dive IDs that you can go check out and share with one another. Maybe you're missing something and you need like this one creature, or you need this one part of the mystery board, right? And it's like somebody else has a dive ID and they're like, hey, here you go. Here's a layout that has it. And maybe they don't remember where it was, but at least you have something to go to. Just the community aspect is where the game thrives. So if you want a single player experience, this is going to be disappointing. I can't speak to if, Endless Ocean fans, seems like they're all pretty universally disappointed in this. I can't really speak to that because, like I said, I didn't play the originals. I'm curious to play them now, but I did not play them. So I got nothing on that. But just look into it for yourself. And if you're still watching this video and you've watched all this gameplay, hopefully you're kind of just taking in what's going on, because there's kind of a lot going on, but it's a very basic game. You swim around, you scan, and you collect treasure, and you explore. That's it. It's very simple. It's very chill. The music's chill. It has really great graphics for being a Switch game. It's got really relaxing music. It's a chill game. It's exactly what I wanted to be. Is it great? It's not the best game ever, but it's what I wanted. I know at least a few other people that I've played with and talked to, it's what they wanted. So just understand that it's not going to be for everybody, but that's okay. Like, just move on. Do your own research. Hopefully watching this video helped you decide if you were trying to figure out whether or not you should play it. It depends what you want. If you want a single player experience, this isn't going to be it. If you want a multiplayer experience to kind of just go to every now and again and dip your toes into, maybe hop on when there's events, like on the 10th of May, because again, keep in mind I'm recording this on the 4th of May, 2024, they're going to have an event, and you're going to be able to play a layout that has some rare creatures, and that's great. Hopefully there's a community behind this, because that's really going to be where the most fun comes from, is sharing the different dive IDs and playing online with other players and just exploring and just vibing out together. I don't know. I find the game relaxing and fun, and it's different than what I typically play. So for me, I enjoy it. Maybe you won't. It's basic. It's nothing exhilarating in terms of interaction and feature set. It's a very basic game. Very, very basic. So if it sounds bland to you, skip on it. If it sounds like, hey, this is pretty relaxing and it looks all right, check it out for yourself. They're asking $50 for it. I think this probably should have been a $40 release. But, hey, that's all I really got to say about it. Thanks for watching this all the way to the end. I know I was kind of rambling. I was just going off the top of my head, and there's a lot to it that I probably didn't cover. But I wanted to cover the basics and kind of explain my perspective, because I bring a slightly more positive one than all the perspectives that I've been reading. So, you know, if you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. I usually cover indie game content, but every now and again, you know, I got to dip my toes in a bigger title. And this is one that I've just been playing for fun. I never had an intention of making a video, never really even thought about it up until today, and I thought, hey, I'll just, you know, record some gameplay and kind of shoot the breeze about it. Hopefully this helps somebody. If it helped just a few people, then it was worth it. So, thanks for watching, and hope to see you on my next video. Have a good one.